Hey there, internet people. This is Matthew again. If you get that reference, you've got a good YouTube feed. Anyways, today we're going to talk about lesson planning for the week. I'll show you what I do. I've shown bits of it before. Alright, step one, I reference all my unit plans. And these are sometimes canned curriculums that I tweak on my own. These are curriculums I write on my own. But I reference the unit plans, step one. I used canned curriculum until I tried a few, and these were ones written by teachers, not textbooks. And then I thought, okay, it's not so much about the fact that it's canned, it's still at the end of the day about your delivery. And so when a late night TV show host is telling jokes that other people wrote for them, they're also reacting to the audience and adjusting as needed too. And that's what I do with the canned stuff. Now, I'm not talking about unit planning here. We're talking about lesson planning today. Unit planning I usually do in an environment that's usually more long-term. I'm less driven to get an objective done. It's a very creative environment that I set myself up to work in. More relaxed environment, not distracted by other work things. Usually a coffee shop helps me out, or something where there's some white noise in the background, if you will. Because unit planning, I am kind of writing a story in a way. I'm working on rising action, and I'm working on a climax, and I'm working on a resolution, a unit that ends with a little bit of resolution, you know. I take a look at whatever days I need to be looking at in my unit plans, day 2, day 5, wherever I'm at, and this is never set in stone, and I transfer those objectives to my visual agendas. Now notice those are set in the back of the room as almost a tool just for me as they are for my students, in the sense that they are a presentation aid for me. Some will say to keep the objective a mystery, and that doesn't mean you can't post an agenda though. Everyone goes into a movie not knowing the end, but they do know what's going to happen about. So that's where I stand on that. Now I know when I'm lesson planning, I'm working under some sort of pressure to get the week's lesson plans done before the week. I know that's why I did all my unit planning in a more relaxed atmosphere, hopefully ahead of time, where I can do my most creative thinking. Just assessing, okay, I'm going to plug this here and put it on my boards, and that is what the week is going to look like for high school shop there. Basically, I'm trying to distill the complexity of the decisions that need to be made when you're instructing as much as I can ahead of time. You can't distill it to the point of an actual final product before you instruct. So in a nutshell, lesson planning is done from unit planning, which is done more creatively and less structured. When I started lesson planning, I used that to inspire my lesson plans. So then when it comes to my planning and preparation period, my specific actions are inspired because my objectives have been distilled to the point that I've got a pretty good map to follow. Then when I'm actually in the moment of instructing, I try not to remake any of my decisions or second guess myself unless I'm really picking up some wavelengths from the building or from the audience. Then of course I will. So I won't say I follow a script per se, but I do follow a sketch, if you will, like a sketch comedy sort of thing. So I don't know if that stuff helps you guys out or not. If it does, let me know, give me some feedback. If you've got something that it'd be better if, shoot that my direction as well. I'd almost rather that than positive feedback that would build my ego up any bigger than it already is. Just kidding. I do my best to keep my ego in check. But a large part of the reason I post like this occasionally is also because it's a good self-reflective practice for me. So there you have it. Just a thought. I'm going to throw this in here as I'm thinking. One of the probably driving decision criteria as I'm laying out things is fatigue. And that could be, for example, I've got my building trades group. We're doing a lot with teamwork and building a good workplace culture for us. But I'm also dealing with an audience who most of them, 90% of them, have been together with each other since kindergarten in small classes. If I was to do extensive team building with them, they would fatigue out of that quicker than audiences I've worked with in the past as a result. So whether it's the team building, whether it's with my Spanish classes and we're doing storytelling in Spanish, whether it's safety content, I'm always looking at, okay, where's the threshold for overall fatigue? And of course I want my audience to push past some of that, but there's a mutual agreement between them and I that they will, as long as I don't overdo it consistently. And I think that's important. So that's my video on how I lesson plan. I'll probably do another one on unit planning and curriculum planning. We're kind of moving backwards in the process as far as how these videos are being released. But essentially, in a nutshell, your lesson planning should be inspired by your unit planning, which is inspired by your curriculum planning. And it's just a distillation process. And again, just remember, you're writing a plan, you're not married to it. It's all really meant to reduce decision fatigue at the end of the day. So you're pre-making what decisions you can. We're making it easier to make the decisions you have to when you're live and in the moment. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. And just a thought. Have a good night.